Happens anytime. The Rush Limbaugh Show starts now on News Radio Wham 1180.
Welcome, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, young and old alike, to our special Thanksgiving edition of the Rush Limbaugh program right here on the EIB network. Great to have you here. This is the final live broadcast of the week for me. As I said yesterday, I'm endeavoring to find out what it's like to be a normal guy. And in that quest, I have found it necessary to take tomorrow off, like most other normal people do. So, this is it. 800-282-2882 if you want to be on the program today. The email address, lrushbo@eibnet.us. Now, for those of you who are new to the program, and there are tons of you who are, folks, the ratings for the program, we're not supposed to talk about this in much detail, but literally through the roof, such as never been higher, and time spent listening, which is a key element of radio ratings, not so much television, but radio, time spent listening can affect so much. Look, the time spent listening is through the roof as well. People are listening longer, and more people are listening than ever before. The point of this is that many people today have never heard what we do on our special Thanksgiving edition of Rush Limbaugh program, and that is the true story of Thanksgiving, which I wrote about in my first million seller. Actually, the first book sold 2 million hard copies, another 2 million paperback. My first two books sold a grand total of 9 million copies. And the second one sold out, the 2 million hardcover copies, in 8 weeks. So there's a golden opportunity here. And in fact, there is a big spread today at the Federalist on the true story of Thanksgiving. It's spreading. It's taken a while, but it is now spreading. And it is crucially important, especially now, for people to understand the real story of Thanksgiving. More than likely, you were taught an incorrect story. And I was, and most people were. The version I was taught was closer to the truth, but I didn't get the real story of Thanksgiving in my formal education. It wasn't until I began to research it for the book, and then we researched it again for the children's book, Rush, Revere, and the Brave Pilgrims, about the arrival here in the New World of the great pilgrims who came and risked everything and actually engaged in the first Thanksgiving. So it's going to be, for those of you who have not heard the story, it's going to be eye-opening. Normally, I wait until the last hour of the program to do this, but I'm not going to wait till the last hour of the program today. I'm going to shake it up and spread it out. We also have George Washington's first Thanksgiving proclamation. And you know what's going to stand out to you about that is how often George Washington, the father of our country and the first president, and the man whose morality ensured that the United States would remain as founded, they asked him to be king. He turned it down, served his terms as president, went back to Mount Vernon, but he could have been king. If he had chosen and accepted the offer to be king, we wouldn't be the representative republic that we are. We'd be a monarchy. Well, who knows what would have happened to the United States from 1777, 78 on had George Washington accepted the offer to be king, but he didn't. His morality saw to it that he stayed true and loyal to the Constitution that he helped put together. And his first Thanksgiving proclamation, you'll be amazed at how often God is cited and referenced. It'll blow you away if you haven't heard it before. And we also have a little fun. How many of you believe that we screwed the Indians out of Manhattan for 24 bucks? How many of you believe that story? We didn't screw the Indians out of anything. They screwed us. And I love telling this story as well. So that's all coming up. And as I say, I'm not going to force you to wait until the third. One of the reasons for that, sometimes I don't leave myself enough time in the third hour. So I'm going to spread this stuff out. And we combine it with a regular performance program here with the stuff happening out there in the news that we comment on as it happens. So let's get started with all of that. And we'll get the real story of Thanksgiving, which, again, if you haven't heard it, and folks, I'm telling you, I can't. Normally, it's at Christmas time that I get very sentimental and filled with thanks. I don't know why, but it's always at the Christmas break that I take some time to thank all of you and to explain how much you've meant to me and my family over the years. But I'm going to do that today. I'm so happy and I'm so proud. I cannot express the gratitude I have for the support that you are showing for the program in terms of, folks, these ratings are just through the roof. For the last the month leading up to the election, now we're into a new month now, and they're just showing continued record-setting pace after 32 years. And that's all you. And I can't thank you enough. I wish I could get into greater detail, but we're not really permitted. The theory is you discuss the ratings, then you alter them. You have an impact on what they are and what people admit to listening to. So that's about as far as I can go with it. Okay, here's this headline. Oregon governor, report your neighbors if they have too many people over for Thanksgiving. This is what the American people apparently voted for. The Democrat governor of Oregon, Kate Brown, declared that people should call the police. Do they have police left in Oregon? Or did they defund them and get rid of Mr. Snerdley? Or there's still police in... They still have a few? Oh, okay. Well, the Governor Kate Brown declared that people should call the cops on neighbors who have too many people over for Thanksgiving dinner. A week ago, the Governor Kate Brown threatened citizens of Oregon with fines and 30 days of jail time for having more than 6 people in a social gathering. Folks, do you see what is happening here? These are Democrat governors, these are Democrat mayors, and they're going crazy with power. This governor of Pennsylvania has put limitations on buying booze on Wednesday night into Thanksgiving Day. They're drunk. They're drunk with power, and they're salivating over ways to use it even more, and in what they think are more creative ways. And now we're advocating that citizens snitch on each other in the state of Oregon. A week ago, the governor threatened citizens with fines, 30 days of jail time for having more than 6 people. When she was asked about enforcement, she said, quote, "This is no different than what happens if there's a party down the street and it's keeping everybody awake. What do neighbors do? They call the cops because it's too noisy. This is just like that. It's like violations of a noise ordinance." Now, this is a state where, in certain circumstances, they legally allow you to possess heroin. It is a state where they have regularly allowed riots and vandalism and law-breaking and looting, as long as it's the right people being looted. In Portland, if you want to see your whole family for Thanksgiving, they want your neighbors to call the Gestapo on you. They can toss you in the slammer, for your own good, of course, for your own good. You don't know how to live your life the proper way. You don't know how to make the proper decisions. You do not know how to keep yourself safe or anybody else safe. And so your neighbors have to report on you. Mad Dog Mattis, Secretary of Defense for a time during the Trump administration, wrote an op-ed in the deep state official foreign affairs publication called Foreign Affairs. He said he hopes that Joe Biden will, quote, take America first out of the U.S. national security strategy, which confirms that Mattis is a globalist first, not an American first, should have never been defense secretary. He's a general, can't change that. But see, it's this kind of thinking that seems to have made a lot of our so-called military leaders turn on Trump. I mean, this is absurd. Says he hopes Biden will take America first out of U.S. national security. What in the world? Look at the series of achievements and accomplishments of the Trump administration as a result of America first. That's what these people oppose. They oppose American greatness. They oppose America first. What in the world is wrong with America first? It doesn't mean we slough everybody else off. It doesn't mean we disrespect anybody else. It means that everybody else benefits from a stronger America. The world does not benefit from a weakened America. The world does not benefit from America that gets watered down and diluted and is nothing special. The world doesn't benefit from that. That's what these guys all want. The globalists are demanding globalism. And what has to happen for globalism to succeed? The United States has to be cut down to size. You have to get rid of superpowers, essentially. Or you have to have more than one so that there is balance, so that there is some way to limit the bad, dangerous tendencies of the United States. So this is what the American people voted for, but I don't believe they knew it. That's the problem. Maybe they did. Look, I know that a certain number of Democrats did. Don't misunderstand. I know the Democrat Party is constituted, has a whole bunch of anti-American types in it, but they're not anywhere near the majority of this country. Twitter is not America. It's not even close. Facebook is not America. It's not even close. Zuckerberg and his gang had to work really hard to do what they did to maneuver this election into Biden's camp. But this idea that Biden take America first out of national security, it's one thing to take America first out of economic matters. It's another thing to take America first out of national security. How in the hell can you oppose America first in terms of national security? What's the point of the United States government? Former Defense Secretary James Mad Dog Mattis said in an op-ed on Monday, that would be yesterday for those of you in Rio Linda, that he hopes Biden will take America first out of the national security strategy for his incoming regime. Mattis wrote the op-ed titled Defense in Depth for Foreign Affairs magazine. There were three other authors on the piece. Says in January, when President Biden and his national security team begin to reevaluate U.S. foreign policy, we hope they will quickly revise the national security strategy to eliminate America first from its contents, restoring in its place the commitment to cooperative security that has served the United States so well for decades. BS. Cooperative security made us put ourselves second and third and fourth and fifth by design. That is exactly what happened during the Obama administration. That was its purpose. And these people loved it. For whatever sick reason, these people love the devaluation of the United States of America. They love the devaluation of the United States as a superpower, as an economic power, as a military power. And for what? Guilt? Why does the United States need to be punished? Why does the United States need, in our natural existence, because of capitalism and freedom and liberty in our Constitution, we are the strongest, the greatest, the most powerful, militarily and economically, nation ever to exist. Why in the world is that bad? Why in the world would you purposely want to evolve strategies, policies that would punish the United States for its great? What in the world do you hope to accomplish? Well, the answer to that is globalism. And globalism ultimately means a world without borders, for one thing, and it means a world without nation states. Do not doubt me on this. These people believe that nation states represent a huge problem to the concept of global governance. I have to take a brief time out here because of the constraints of the programming format, but we'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Rush Limbaugh, pointing the way on the EIB network. Rochester.